Today we're going to look at the ranking documentation that's been exposed, showing over 14,000 ranking features. I'm going to break down the key points and give you actionable tips on how to use AI to optimize your SEO strategies based on this leak. I really like this article on Search Engine Land by Andrew Ainsley. I think it breaks it down the best I've seen so far. So when you get a chance, make sure you read the entire article. I'm just going to point out the key points here. I like how the article starts out by saying that SEOs generally fall into three categories: the cheerleaders who believe everything Google says is true, the black hats who think Google is lying about everything, and the rationalists who test everything to find the truth. Shout out to Bill Slawski, RIP. I fall more into the second or third category because I know for a fact it's not in Google's best interest to show how their algorithm works. I also test everything they say to see if it's true or not, and I've seen throughout testing that everything they say is in fact not true. First, let's take a look at the key points. I'm just going to highlight some of these. Google has 7 different types of PageRank mentioned, one of which is the toolbar PageRank. So this just confirms to us that Google does use Chrome data for their rankings. Google has a specific method of identifying the following business models: news, your money, your life, personal blogs, e-commerce, and video sites. So this is just something that shows if you have a news site, you have to use different tactics than a personal blog or an e-commerce site. The most important components of the algorithm are nav boost, NSR, and the shard scores. So we'll come back to that. They use a site-wide authority metric and a few site-wide authority signals, including traffic from Chrome browsers. So this was a little interesting to see because, of course, we know that Google ranks each page, but we didn't really know that they used site-wide authority metrics, except for domain rating. Google measures bad clicks, good clicks, last longest clicks, and site-wide impressions. So this was interesting to see as well, but something that we kind of already speculated on but has been confirmed. So I'm gonna highlight a few things here throughout the article. Google has a metric called page quality. So this uses a large language model to estimate the effort for articles. So basically this just shows if Google determines whether a page can be replicated easily. I think this is a good way to think about your content in terms of value. How easily can your pages be replicated? And here he recommends using tools, images, videos, unique information, and depth of information to score high on the effort calculations. So if you can create data points, charts, graphs, this is a good way to score high on effort because those pages cannot be replicated easily. Here we have the topic authority, which the only thing I'm going to point out here is Google creates topical identity for your website, and every page is measured against that identity. So these measure how far page embeddings deviate from the topical identity of your website. So any page that deviates far from your niche likely is not going to rank well. So I'm going to scroll through here some more. And again, here's that same point. Deviation from the topic is measured. We could also apply this low quality score. So a low quality page that's linked to other pages could taint the other pages by association. So this just gives another good reason for pruning pages that don't perform well, because those low quality pages could hurt the other pages that they link to on the site and the site as a whole. They also have this image quality click signal that measures usefulness, presentation, appealingness, and engagingness. So we don't really know what those words mean, but it's likely that you shouldn't use stock photos. So if you can use any kind of image as opposed to stock photos, that would likely help you out here. Here was mentioned earlier as one of the important ranking factors, the normalized site rank. So essentially, it's taking a chunk of the site and measuring these chunks. And we already know that Google does this page by page, as he mentions here, but this just gives you more of a reason to optimize chunks of your site and make sure that they are communicating topical authority. Here is the nav boost, where it mentions that Chrome data is specifically used, and he comments that this could possibly extend to Android devices as well. So this was another thing that we speculated on for a while that seems to be confirmed here, and it also brings up the site quality score patent. Here is where the sandbox is mentioned. And of course, a lot of people have talked about the sandbox, but the main thing to get from this is that the sandbox is for spam and domain age does not matter. An interesting thing that I saw here as well is that Google only uses the last 20 versions of your site. So if you update a page 20 times, you can effectively push out older versions of that page. Here's the ranking system that was broken into a graph that I like. So we're gonna go through this really quick. So this is the primary scoring system. And of course, this isn't gonna be everything, but these are some things that we see from the leak. Ranking based on freshness, click logs of user behavior. So this is coming from Chrome. The freshness of the links. So this is basically saying that guest posts are better than niche edits, which we'll come back to. Bold terms on the page, so those will get a little bit of a boost. Homepage trust, so this is basically looking at the backlinks coming from sources that are associated with your niche. Short content score, so this is based on originality, and this is going to apply to certain types of content like recipes. And we'll come back to this. Length of the document, title match score, how well the title matches with the query, which is something that we already optimized for, but has been confirmed here. So I think those are some good things to look at when you're putting together your pages. And a lot of these things we already knew, but again, this just confirms it. I'm gonna scroll through a little bit of this, and we also see that Google's indexer does have a name, Alexandria. Here's where it talks about short content can rank. And again, this is mainly for things like recipes, but it uses a different scoring system. So just know that if your content doesn't fall within this short content ranking system, then it still won't rank well. Fresh links are better than existing links. And this is something we also knew, but it just confirms that it's better to have links on new pages that were recently published as opposed to old niche edits. And he mentions here that this doesn't mean niche edits are ineffective, but that links from newer pages get an unknown value multiplier. Here, this metric is for site-wide Chrome views. So this is another interesting one that shows that Google does use Chrome data, and it uses it with these site-wide signals. And then here's the chart variance and score, and these are the site level chart scores to predict site and page quality based on your content. So this is another important one to have in mind when looking at your entire site, and also a good reason to remove low quality pages. So those are all the things we should optimize for. And then it also has a section here of demotions. So these are things you want to take a look at. And he has a nice little graph here we're going to take a look at. So these are scoring demotions. So here's one: poor navigational experience for users. So you of course want to have a good navigation for your site, and also for the crawlers that's organized and makes sense. This is an important reason to have that. Location. I thought this was a really interesting one. Scoring demotion. Google associates you with a location and other location rankings will get dampened. So it appears that if you have locations and then you have other location pages that are not associated where your actual business is, it'll actually hurt your rankings for all of the locations. So this is an interesting one. I think not a lot of people know. This is something that I've speculated on for a while, especially through testing, and I just can see it confirmed here. Anchor mismatch. The link doesn't match the target site. So if you don't have good anchor text for your backlinks, then this is a scoring demotion that you could end up getting. And user dissatisfaction. This is just not getting that many clicks in the search engine results pages, which is why we write our titles to be clickable and to include keywords. Here in the spam section, it also mentions some reasons why you could get demotions: spun content, filler AI, and straight nonsense. So even though Google says they can't understand content, they usually can pick out these sorts of things, which will get you a demotion. Another interesting one here is the keyword stuffing score. And I've seen this a lot where I go through and de-optimize pages, removing places where it's been keyword stuffed, and I do see the page start to rank better. So this makes a lot of sense here. Another thing that's mentioned here is the anchor text. So if you have certain anchor text, then you will get put into a spam category where Google will take another look at you and you could possibly get penalized for it. So these phrases aren't known, but if you have any of them as anchor text for your page, then Google does another pass by to see if your site is trusted or not. So if your site has a lot of authority and it's more trusted, you can get away with more of this. But if you're not one of these trusted sources, then they could possibly hit you with a spam penalty. Again, I would advise you to go through and read this entire article. It's pretty good. And I really like how he breaks down all of the metrics here and actually puts them into an algorithm. And this is exactly what Google does not want. They do not want people knowing exactly how to rank well in Google because it could hurt their business. And here you see he has the entire formula of what has been put together from the leak. So I would advise you to go through and check that out. And then he has a more general version of it as well. User interaction scores plus content quality and link scores times relevance boost, quality boost, plus content specific score adjustments minus the demotion score. So this is basically a general formula of how Google works. Now let's go through how you can use AI to help with your SEO strategy based on this leak. Google is using a large language model to estimate effort for articles. So you can use AI to help you with creating comprehensive, high-quality content efficiently. This also helps with maintaining a consistent publishing schedule and keeping your content at high standards. I like the AI tool Texta because you can use it to create high-quality articles that include multimedia, pictures, and it thoroughly covers the topic. Image quality is measured by click, usefulness, etc. So there's many AI tools that you can use to generate images as opposed to using stock photos. I would recommend Leonardo or Midjourney. I also like Canva to make better images. Content that's not updated has the lowest priority for Google. So it's always good to have fresh content on your site, and this is something that we've always known, and AI can help automate that process. You can use the industry standard Surfer SEO or ClearScope. I also like SEO writing AI as a way to plan and manage content updates. Google is constantly updating its algorithms and SEO is constantly evolving. So make sure you use AI tools to help stay ahead of changes that provide real-time insights and recommendations. The AI tool I like here is RivalFlow. It helps monitor changes in rankings and provides insights for updating your site. Links from newer web pages are better than links inserted into older content. This is also something we've known. It's better to have a new link on a newly published page as opposed to something like a niche edit. So AI can streamline the process of finding valuable linking opportunities to enhance your site's authority. The AI tools I like for backlinks are Backlink GPT or Mentioned. These can help you identify and acquire those high-quality links from new and relevant pages. Remove poorly performing pages. Regularly audit and remove underperforming content to help with the site-wide site quality score that Google uses. Previously, we would remove poorly performing pages because that just gave Google more to crawl. So having less of those pages meant that they could see our changes sooner. But now that we know about the site quality metric, we need to remove those low quality pages from the site because they can hurt the overall site quality. I like Screaming Frog for this, but if you don't want to use the industry standard, you can also check out Labrica to track user metrics and identify poorly performing pages. Topical focus is called out in these leaks, but doesn't really have a direct correlation. I would say maintaining a clear topical focus with all your content is always going to be a good strategy. The AI tools I like here are ChatGPT-4 or Machined to improve your site's topical authority and focus on relevant content without deviating to other niches. Again, a lot of people are going crazy over this leak, but I felt like this was a lot of information I already knew. This just confirms some of the speculation, like them using Chrome data, for example. I would advise you to read this entire article. I'm going to have it linked in the description below. And make sure you subscribe because I'm going to be doing updates on this as they come out. Check out these other videos of AI software you should be using.